Mine sveinar heime ved og gjøy med det gulleballe, de andre seks på heidningland og gjøy med det jan I kalle. Vi det ut av Franklande med dyre.
All right, and we're live. All right, everybody, welcome to our prologue for our Paladin Warriors of Charlemagne campaign. This campaign will be taking us from the year 767 onwards through medieval Europe in an accelerating fashion. Following the kingship of one Charlemagne. This is our first time playing this system. I'm Bo. We're going to stumble through it tonight for this prologue, try to get used to the mechanics. With us tonight is Walter Peck playing Samson of Verdun. And we have Sim playing William of Ardennes. Both of them are squires at this point. And we will go ahead and kick it off. As our game opens, we found ourselves in the small-walled town of Verdun, well north of the Alps and west of the Rhine River in the Duchy of Lorraine. Verdun is known, fortunately or unfortunately, for its slave trade, mostly in Saxons, as they are brought back from the frontier and impressed into labor, some of them converted, some of them preferring to die by the sword. On this particular morning, in the early spring in 767, the town is all a bustle. Dogs run down the alleyways, children play in the streets, shopkeepers walk out into the early morning air and start to put forth their wares. For today is the first day that the slave market will be open in Verdun. And everyone knows that there is money to be made. I will let you guys take it away.
Samson, whose home is here in Verdun, sits overlooking the slave market, always on the lookout for Saxons, one of the most hated tribes of him and his kin. A small smile of satisfaction as he sees a group of them in shackles being prepared for the market. You find him in a surcoat, quartered, rented black. He absentmindedly rotates a golden ring on his left hand, the crest of his family stamped on the top of it. He's fairly large compared to the individuals around him, the benefits of a noble and knightly upbringing. And sitting with him is William, who has come from Ardennes. So tell me, William, do you like what you see so far here in Verdun?
There's much beauty to be had. But I don't know about the slaves. But your homeland is very beautiful.
Thank you. And these Saxons are lucky we don't put them to the sword. They fetch a good price, and the slave sellers pay a tax to my family's estates. It is a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, these Saxons would have some sort of notion of free will, and we can't have that now, can we?
They are but wayward children of God. Eventually, maybe they find the path.
Perhaps, but for these, their path is that of servitude.
Well, if that's the path to the Lord, then that's the one they must take. That or they baptize in death. Their choice.
Ugh. They're good for the things that our peasants are too above to do. Which is shocking as that seems, as most peasants are good for very little other than menial labor, but there are some things even they shouldn't do, which is where we turn to these people here today.
Yes. Well, it looks like you got a good lot. Like that one over there. He looks like he'd be able to haul around heavy things for you.
Yes. When a mule won't do, or is in a confined space, I suppose they can do. But alas, what brings you here on this good morning?
Well, I figured I'd check out the market. I've already seen some of the countryside. I just lost stuff. Hang on.
Yeah, it's just reloading, I think.
Yeah, I just turned off the audio on Roll20. I always forget to turn that stuff off on new games. I think it should be off. I think it should be off by now. Yeah.
Besides, the master wanted to come this way. He sometimes shares reasons, sometimes does not.
It will be interesting to see if we can learn what his reasons are. I, for one, am itching to get out of this town. Not that it doesn't have its pleasantries. Women, drink, gaming, but I yearn to get out there and prove myself. I don't know about you, but I'm getting old enough now that knighthood is what I strive for, what drives me. Soon I hope to become a reality.
Oh, I'm sure it will. We are very close. We have both kept up on our training pretty well.
As you sit and talk, the sun rises a little bit higher in the sky and burns off the morning clouds. The lines upon lines of slaves, many of them with crimson slashes across their back, disrobed from the neck down, most of them wearing only trousers or even loincloths, or shackled hand and foot with an iron collar around their neck and shuffled into the town square. As you look over them, most of them, besides the wounds given to them by their new masters, are in fairly good shape. Most of them loom even half a hand or more taller than most of the citizens here in Verdun. Then, out of the chapel, walks a tall figure in a dark cloak. Next to him is a woman in a brilliant blue dress who is extremely beautiful, and to her side are two younger women, also beautiful. You know this gentleman as Sir Hervek of Verdun, one of the local landed knights. He walks out of the chapel and looks down upon the town square where the slaves are lined up, the merchants are selling their wares, and everyone is getting ready to do business for the day, and scans the crowd. His eyes alight upon one of the squires, Samson. "Hi, Samson! Well met. How are you this fine day? And who is this you bring with you? This is not a face I have seen before along the streets of Verdun. You have quite a day to grace us with your presence, O stranger."
Samson kind of nods his head and respect. Sir Harvick, this is Squire William of Ardennes. He has traveled here with his master today to on business.
And then William will look at him and give a nice nod. He would be in his blue and silver trim coat. It is a pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you as well. It is a fine day that our Lord God hath made, is it not? And he looks down towards where the slaves are lining up. These laborers will be needed in the West. I dare say a good portion of them will be destined towards Ardennes. Your master is a wise man indeed. There have been rumors even of some of the Saxons converting of their own free will. I suppose our Lord God can only count this as a blessing.
Their own free will? Samson kind of chuckles. If God wills it, then I approve, but I never knew these heathens had it in them.
Like your grandfather and your father after him, Samson. Always hated the Saxon in your heart. I agree. They are little more than beasts roaming the dense wilderness over the Rhine, but our God is a loving God. In time, this will all be his kingdom on earth. At least that's what they say in there. And he kind of points his way back towards the chapel. His wife and his wife's sisters leave at that point, and he watches them go with quite a bit of a lusty eye. You know this about Sir Hervik, and after that his tone changes with you, or Samson. But that dreadful business in chapel is over with. Tonight there is coin to be made and drink to be had, young squire. I remember when I was your age. Come, let me show you the ropes. Bring your friend too. I have money to spare, and it looks like I'm going to be drinking you under the table tonight.
Sir, I accept that challenge, for few can beat me in drink, though I am wary to gamble with you, as that is not one of my strong suits.
I should look on with great interest watching Samson get drinking under the table. Should be quite entertaining.
Oh, my friend, Squire William, you will be drinking with us, I believe.
Yes, I'll have a few. But, you have to ease the appetite. It is the Lord's teaching, after all.
A modest and humble one indeed.
Aye. But it is a sin to be gluttonous, and that includes with drink.
Samson kind of arches an eyebrow and leans to Sir Harvick. I believe this one is destined for the monastery as a priest or a bishop of some kind. Would you not agree, sir?
It may be so, but as my late mother says, it takes all kinds to build a village. Perhaps we will corrupt him, Samson. Come, young William. Let us be off. There is money to be made, and drink to be drunk, and women to be... Well, let's see what the afternoon and evening brings, shall we?
Excellent idea, sir.
I agree. It shall be a fun night.
And we're going to kind of move a little bit forward at this point as you guys kind of go about your day in the slave market. William, you no doubt help your master, and Samson, I don't know who the knight is you serve under, but Sir Harvick certainly is uncharacteristically offered to carouse with you. He's not known to be the most chaste or prudent of sorts, and tell me how all this goes. But first of all, let's do a couple rolls. Samson, why don't you give me? Well, let's do the role play first, and we'll see what comes of this.
Alrighty.
Tell me how this goes. Take your pants off.
Yes, I saw that.
So how does William spend his day?
William will spend his day, of course, helping his master do what he needs to do. Corral some of the merchandise that he bought, and of course, listen to some, listen and watch, kind of learn. That's part of his daily routine is observing and taking note.
At one point, William, you were handing your knight, your lord, a bag of coin up on his horse after he has purchased 10 slaves, and he is kind of taking them out of town where you're camped. When a young lady catches your eye, it seems to be one of the sisters of Sir Hervek's wife. Can you give me a recognize or heraldry with a +5? You'll have to roll off your sheet.
Yeah, no problem. Gotta figure out which one I'm better at. Both should be bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we'll do some recognize. Didn't give me a chance to add a plus.
Yeah, so your threshold would just be 12, right?
Yeah.
So that is a success. You recognize her. She's very, very comely, as the youngest sister of Sir Hervek's wife. Her name is Ingrid of Verdun, and she is known, just like her brother-in-law, not to be the most chaste. Nevertheless, William, she approaches you after you hand your master the coin and he rides off. It is rare we get visitors in this town so early in the spring.
William recognizing her and realizing that she is of some importance, shows her all the courtesy and gives her a slight bow. Yes, my lady. We are but here to conduct business, but I think it was a very warranted visit. I haven't been to this area, and my lord likes to take me places I've never been to educate me.
Well, it looks well on you, William of Ardennes. A little sun on your face does you well, a little fresh air, a little bit of the smell of the Rhine River in your nostrils. If you have any free time tonight, my sister and I, we could show you about the town. It looks like you have money to spend. She looks down at your coin purse.
Aye. Well, I am due to meet your very own Sir Havoc for drinks, I guess. But will you be there?
Of course I will. Although I must give you a word of caution. Sir Hervek is a bit of the reckless sort. I do not think he is always faithful to my sister. On the other hand, oftentimes I do not think that she regrets it. After all, she enjoys being left to her own devices, and as long as she can spend his coin, well, I guess the less whispered in dark alleys, the better.
Yes. Well, I've happened to mind my business, but what they feel about each other and how they treat each other is their own.
Indeed. As Sir Hervek is fond to quote the Lord in the Bible, I say that what happens indoors stays indoors, but does not escape the gaze of our Lord God. But our Lord God also says, go forth and multiply. And she places a hand upon your shoulder, William. And then she offers her arm as she would like you to lead her down through the town square.
William, noticing the hand on the shoulder, and as a test to his chasteness, he does this up the arm because it is of courtesy, and he will escort her where she's going while keeping pleasant conversation.
Give me either chase or prudent. Now, it's up to you. This can be a character development moment, and you can go along and kind of give into her wiles. Or, as long as you use it to develop your character, you can go against this roll. I'll kind of leave it up to you and role play it. But either way, go ahead and put a little check mark next to chaste.
All right. He will go along with her. At the same time, knowing he's in public, so he's, he's intrigued, and of course aroused, but at the same time, he knows his manners.
How very French.
Oui.
Okay. Her first stop is. I'm going to change your little setting here. Her first stop, of course, is going to be a tavern, and in that tavern, music is playing. All the merchants have money to spend from the market today, and she immediately fetches 2 large goblets of wine and sits in a dark corner. She takes her hood over her dress and pulls it up over her face so as to kind of hide herself, at least from any prying eyes in town. And she beckons you sit next to her and says, "Come, drink, Samson."
He'll kind of edge in to sit. Smells like some fine wine.
Yes, it's it passes, but it's not near of the quality of what you have in Ardennes, or even Burgundy to the south. No, this is not wine country, at least I know that much. So when will you be following your master's footsteps? She starts to get even. She downs her wine quickly.
William watching her down her wine, and he takes but sips. You mean when I shall be departing with him?
No. When will you follow in his footsteps, Sir William?
Oh. Well, that is not for me to decide when I become knighted, but I like to think I'm quite prepared for it.
She kind of looks you up and down and says, "You're a tall man, well muscled." And she kind of drains the rest of her wine and pinches your cheek and says, "But the face could use a little work."
Yes, well, I'm pretty sure I'm past the creation phase for my face. I have but what the Lord chose of me.
Well, I suppose as you grow older and more mature, maybe a scar here or there, or weather-beaten skin, that would do you well. Now, some of that coin, and let's fetch some more wine, shall we?
He'll grab some of his coins out, and I don't know, would there be a bar wrench nearby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. All she has to do, as one of the ladies in town, is head to the bar, and she's, probably out of place here, but they would immediately serve her, right?
Yeah. So he would, of course, buy her another goblet because he is not finished with his.
She is going to try to take advantage of her beauty and get just completely trashed on your coin. And you've already failed that chase, so you're kind of on the hook a little bit. So I want you to tell me what you would do, and if you want to kind of call her on it, you're going to have to roll temperate with a -2.
So he would, of course, indulge for a little bit, just because it's he's being courtly, right? But eventually, yes, he will start trying to cut her off, of course. So I'll roll that temperate. He'll look at her. "Well, my lady, the Lord says that you have to be temperate with your, well, I guess I could say your drink and your food. You're being very indulgent. I don't think I can support you damning your soul to hell through indulgence."
Damn my soul to hell. Go. All right, roll it. Oh, that would beat it even with a -2. So eventually, after just
League.
a couple of glasses of wine, why don't you give your little check mark for temperance as well?
Now, do we check these when we pass or just when we roll them?
It's whenever I want you to.
Oh, gotcha.
It's when you pass, but if you fail and it creates a good character moment, I can still say check it. I still need to re-review that part of the rules though, so we'll figure it out on the back end, as they say. So she turns to you. "Oh, Sir William, you're no fun. But I admit, there is a certain stoutness about your character. Most of these young boys," I say young boys because that's what they are, not a hair between their legs as far as I know, "they would stay here and drink till dawn and wake up with an empty purse. But you, perhaps you have a future about you, Sir William." She keeps calling you by the name and just whispers it. And then she takes her finger and puts it on your lips. "And now I am drowsy and must retire. Perhaps I will see you in the morning."
Yes, perhaps. And he'll stand up. "Perhaps I should accompany you to where you're going to make sure you get there safely."
"Ah, indeed." And yeah, why don't you tell me how that works as you kind of accompany me as the sun is starting to set, and you accompany back to her chambers.
Yeah, he would offer his arm, and of course keep the pleasantries going. So I take it that your family is quite known out this way. Sir Havix is quite popular, but I don't know nothing else.
Indeed, we are. We do own a small vineyard just to the west of here. As I said before, it's nothing compared to the fertile fields of Burgundy, but it has made my father and our grandfather before him a relatively wealthy man.
And of course he'd be utilizing his, trying to use that as his intrigue to learn more about the family and some of the other families, how they compare. He wants to know who's powerful and who's not.
No, yeah, give me an intrigue.
Gotcha. I don't know. I hope a 7's pretty good.
Boom.
Ooh.
Barely.
Hey, boy.
Barely. So she talks with you as you walk her down the street, and on the step of her chambers before she goes in, and she does tell you that one of the most powerful families is Sir Hervek's family, and the marriage between his family and hers is a marriage of both military might and winemaking, and they have a lot of their bases covered. Sir Hervek is also deep in the slave trade, as many of the lords are here in Verdun, and she also tells you that he was expecting a close family friend from over the Rhine to arrive, and Sir Hervik seemed to be in a foul mood earlier because this family had not arrived. This was Lord and Lady Gershwin from a village just right along the river. They were supposed to arrive with a caravan full of slaves, which apparently never showed up. Ingrid really thinks that's kind of funny in her tipsy state, but she spills the beans on that stuff.
Gotcha.
Why don't you give a check mark on your intrigue?
And it's checked. So, of course, once he gets her to her quarters, and he'll say his good nights. He's doesn't want to. I guess I don't know. He doesn't. He's not trying to press his luck, type deal.
Yeah, as a squire, you probably know not to do that just yet.
Yeah. There'll be plenty of time for ladies, but he also one of the part of the purpose was, as he gets older, he has to look out for his lands. So maybe it's a prospect.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to mark Ingrid of Verdun. Her family has vineyards, Harvek, slave trade, and warriors. And you did well with her. Excellent. All right, now we're going to move over to Samson and Harvek. Unfortunately, Samson, you didn't roll into any appearance 22 dames. Instead, you did a lot of business in the slave market and talked about the goings-on in the world. And you can kind of tell me how that conversation went.
Samson always eager to hear of knights' accomplishments and adventuring over the years. Spends most of the day talking with Sir Harbeck about his expeditions, whether mostly focusing if he's ever been taking on the Saxons recently, or even going so far south to fight the Saracens in Spain, the Lombards, whomever the king commands. He is eager, of course, to prove his own worth as young as he is. And of course, Sir Harbeck would most likely know that his father, his own father, Samson's father, is bedridden with an ailment that he got over the winter. Unknown how much longer he has for this world. Hopefully a great many years, as Samson cares deeply for him, and he achieved great glory over his career as a knight.
I am quite sorry to hear that, Samson. The last I heard of your father, he was a man both mighty in mind and heart, stout of body. But time takes a toll on us all. Ashes to ashes, so the good book says.
Indeed, he has led a dutiful life to both God and our kingdom, as well as our duke. And while I know we all pass, it is the one battle in war that no man can win, I do hope he still stays with us for a few more years at least.
Mm-hmm. You are wise beyond your years, squire. Indeed, it is the long defeat that we all must face. We will all go into that cold night eventually. Or, as the bishop tells us, we will eventually be met with the grace and bright face of God. But for right now, I will settle for the pretty face of a lass. Come, join me. I know just the spot where we won't be bothered.
Samson kind of pauses for a moment, but of course, sir, lead the way.
And he leads the way. You guys pass William and Ingrid as they leave, but you don't necessarily. Oh, actually, why don't you give me a what is it? Recognize, I think.
Oh God, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah, just give me a give me a recognize. Just see if you see him on the way out. Threshold 1.
Yeah, I told you. It was a bad roll.
That doesn't get a check. No, you don't see him.
Samson is too caught up listening to Sir Harvick tell of his stories of battle to notice that his friend from earlier in the day, William, is chatting up a comely lass by the name of Ingrid.
And as you walk into the tavern, Sir Hervath is saying to you, well, we have spent last year to the east. That is why I am surprised that Lord and Lady Gershwin have not yet arrived with their slaves. We took no small number in the raids in those forests. It is good to be back here in Verdun, but I look forward to the summer when I may venture across the Rhine again. And give me a either heraldry or another recognize to tell me if you know the Gershwins or not.
Unlikely. Let's see. You're not going to do recognize. What did you say the other one was?
Heraldry.
Heraldry?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Equally terrible.
Clueless squire, knave. He looks. He's looking at you as you just have a blank stare in your eyes. The Gershwins. Knave, do you not know who they are?
I apologize, sir. I should know them, but the name eludes me at the moment. Tell me, who are they?
Your father has neglected his duties to educate his son, it seems. They hold a fort on the west bank of the Rhine. My family and theirs have been friends for many years. They supply us with slaves. We supply them with coin and supplies from Verdun. And now, thanks to my wife's family, we supply them with a passable vintage.
Ah, yes, of course. Oh, that Gershon. I, of course, sir. He stumbles over himself, trying to poorly covering up for his lack of knowledge regarding his kin.
You do not need to cover up your ignorance with me, Samson of Verdun. Do not forget I was a young squire once as well. You will travel all of Lord or King Pepin. King Pepin's land when comes the time, but I do not hold it against you that you do not know your geography, as do I. And he's a little bit haughty in his voice.
Of course, sir. But how long will you wait before you start to worry about their delayed or absence?
Lord Gershwin and his wife are getting on in years. They are only just younger than my own father. Perhaps they have met with hardship along the road. Let us enjoy this evening. If they are not here by the morning, perhaps we may ride out on the trail. You and your friend could certainly join myself. Perhaps gain some small measure of glory, eh?
Hopefully it does not come to that, sir, but if it does, I would be honored to ride at your side.
Very well. Now, do you have any more questions, Samson? It's been a long time since we could sit and chat. My own squire is not as much fun as you. He tilts back his tankard and drinks it.
I say, let us worry about this issue in the morning, but for now, I say we enjoy a few more tankards before we turn in for the night.
I'm going to take a different tact with you. He's not going to try to take advantage of you or get you drunk or anything, but he does, as the night wear on, kind of act in a way that would be unbecomely of a knight, certainly one that's married. You would see him with many different women on his lap throughout the night, sometimes disappearing for minutes and minutes. And returning with a ruddy grin on his face. Do you talk to him about this sort of thing? Do you keep it buried deep inside? What's your internal monologue looking like on this?
At first, Samson, being as young as he is, doesn't quite put two and two together. He thinks Sir Harvek is going to relieve himself, and only later in the evening does he finally have the realization that the relief he's seeking is not what Samson believed it to be. And finally, when yet another woman leaves, for whatever reason, he leans over to Sir Harvick. Sir, I believe we've drank our fair share this evening. Perhaps it is time to retire and return to our estates and prepare for tomorrow, if need be.
He looks at you and says, "Ha ha!" He little more than a little tipsy. "The night is still young, squire. Come, enjoy yourself. You will be a knight soon, in a year, 2, 5, 10 years. There will be time to be chaste and prudent. Enjoy the flesh of this earth. Besides, confession is tomorrow. You'll be absolved."
I am young and don't have the stamina of one as you, Sir Harvick, but even as someone as virile and robust as you, I'm sure need a good night's rest in case we do have to go out in the morning and see what delayed your kin.
Let's see what you can roll here. I want to use something a little different. Let's see here. Do you want to do... Let's see here. You're trying to lead by example. Do you want to just roll your honor?
No, I won't say no to that.
Yeah, roll your honor. That's a crit.
Oh,
That is a crit. That is a critical success. So give yourself a check there. And tell me how you react. He'll obviously listen to you, and I think I'll let you role play it, but I think he sees this as being the bigger man, and he probably knows what the right thing is, right? And this is like a step in maturity in you, and something that he'll probably tell others about, not in a bad way, probably in a good way, like, you know, the time that Samson kept me from a million more bad decisions or something like that, right?
as they're kind of talking and he's trying to convince them, he thinks back to some of the teachings he had from the bishop or priest in the area, and he thinks to one specific Bible quote, and he goes to this. He goes, "I understand the pleasures of the flesh can be quite enticing, but let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled, for God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous."
Your words are haughty indeed, but there is a kernel of wisdom in them, squire. Please do not let anyone know that you had to give advice to a knight, but I see that you walk the path of wisdom this evening. I will accompany you from this place, and perhaps speak better of you in the morning, when my head does not hurt so badly as it may otherwise, and perhaps you have saved me from some pox. Ha! This surely
Quite
is a
true.
sign from God.
Yes, we are meant to be faithful with both God and our partner, and I'm sure it isn't you and your character, but the wine and alcohol that has convinced you to make some of these decisions tonight. He kind of tries to blame the alcohol. You know, it's like, oh, it's not you. It's clearly because you were drinking. It was the alcohol made you do it.
Yes, indeed. I enjoy all of God's bounty on earth, perhaps sometimes a little much. But underneath this ring mail and this boiled armor is the heart of a lustful man. Alas! Take me home, squire. I must rest. A big day tomorrow. I think that confessional will take several hours.
He laughs. Of course, sir. Let me help you get back to your home. And then I perhaps will see you at church in the morning.
It's not like you're ever going to be a powerhouse in eloquence, but check that too,
Alrighty.
just for that role play. And tell me what looks like. He doesn't want to go home to his wife, so he wants to sleep it off at your place with you guys. So, kind of tell me how you kind of go back to where you guys are hanging out and tuck him in at least for a few hours while he sleeps off the whoring and the wine.
As they make it back to Samson's father's estates, he calls for servants to quickly make up a guest room for Sir Harvick, not telling them, not that they didn't know just by looking at him or smelling him, that he's pretty smashed. And in time, they get him to a bed, and he falls down, snoring like a cow within moments. And Samson informs the servants to keep their mouths shut and just say that he was tired or perhaps ate something at a tavern that didn't agree with him before himself returning to his room and retiring for the evening.
Yes. Yes. Yes, of course. You can count on my utmost discretion. And the servants kind of go away. And William is in the chambers as well, probably as Sir Hervik and Samson, the squire, kind of stumble in. How do you react?
William, doing some silent contemplation, sees him enter and kind of gives a smile. I see you and Sir Havoc had some fun.
He certainly did. While I did enjoy my drink, I would say Sir Harvick enjoyed it a little bit more than I, but I always believe one of the most important vows one can have is a vow of silence on certain things. Would you not agree, Squire William?
It just all depends on who you expect to be silenced. But yes. And you kind of give Ulrich a look up and down. It seems like he's in for a rough night.
Nothing cold drink in the morning and the sun on your face won't fix.
And you better have a pitcher of wine no by so he could chase the demons out in the morning as well.
I don't know if he'll be able to do that. I believe he is going to church in the morning, so he will have to find a way to be alert in some manner.
He'll smile. Yeah, as some would say, our problem is in bed now.
As for you, did you enjoy your evening? I did not see you out and about after the day had progressed.
Would William have noticed them walk by as he was walking with Sir Hovick's sister? Oh?
What's that?
Would William have seen him walk by as he was escorting Sir Harvick's sister?
Would William have seen Samson?
Samson and Sir Harvick as they're on their way when they crossed each other.
Give me a recognize.
Well, probably not then.
You're too busy staring at other assets.
Nope.
Yep,
Nope.
was definitely.
Nope, did not.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of escorting a young lady to the tavern and back to her quarters. And he's going to leave out who he was escorting.
You cad.
Well, the good Lord says that when a lady is in need, you provided an escort. Even provided some coin for her to indulge. And I made sure she got home nice and safe. But did not go no further, of course.
Of course. I would ask exactly what she needed from you, but as I asked you to take a vow of silence, I shall be one to do the same regarding whatever did or did not, and he gives a little wink as if he's just assuming William sealed the deal, uh, on what happened with this young lass.
Well, as the good Lord as my witness, I am but a chivalrous person, so I don't know what you're thinking, but it's probably incorrect.
I will take your word for it, William. I am not one to doubt your conviction when it comes to being chaste. I just like to joke from time to time, but with that said, I believe I will retire for the evening, and come tomorrow morning, there might be of something you can assist me with.
Oh, I sure do hope it's nothing too boring.
Oh, quite the contrary. We shall see. I do not want to get your hopes up until the morning comes to see if it is in fact our services that will be required.
And I suppose our services would be required for Sir Harvick then.
Yes.
And here he thinks in his head, it's probably about his friends that did not come in town. Well, good. I should rest and be ready for the morning then.
May God watch over you this evening, and we shall see you on the morrow.
As with you. And he'll make his way to where he's sleeping.
You fall asleep in other places besides Sir Hervek. He has taken the bed and is sprawled out over the pillow, snoring softly. The two of you manage to ignore the snoring, however, as you relatively soberly drift, falling asleep. Why don't you both give me love of God? A sign
How
from
much do
God.
I love God? Oof.
I want to see how much.
God's, I don't know.
Sam, give yourself a check mark on love of God.
Man, God's not in your room tonight.
God loves the adulterer, apparently not me, though.
You have a dream. You have a dream of a wide flowing river full of dead bodies floating down the river. Thousands of them, end to end, stacked like cordwood. Tanned, white skin, sandy blonde hair. The river flowing red with blood all around them. In this dream, several of the corpses somehow come to life. And then the scene changes in your dream, that these corpses chasing down the nobles and ladies of Verdun, ripping them from shreds. Eventually you see them kind of surrounding what looks to be a carriage or a cart before tipping it over, going for the soft nobles within, ripping them limb to limb. And that's when you wake up with a fright. And that's when you also hear, "Sir Harvick! Sir Harvick! I do apologize. One of these servants betrayed your whereabouts, but you are needed most urgently. Sir Harvick! Sir Harvick! Sir Harvick of Verdun! We need your assistance. Lord and Lady Gershwin, there is ill news of them, my lord." Sir Harvick is snoring. Samson's still asleep, and William, you have just woken up in a sweat.
So as William wakes up, and he's just kind of like, the dream is so vivid, so he's kind of trying to shake it from his head, and reaches over for a glass of water that he brought in from a pitcher with him. And then when he hears the servant yelling, he gets up immediately and dons what he has and walks out and looks at the servant. I'll go wake Sir Havoc. You wake your master.
I do apologize, but Sir Hervik's assistance is needed. There has been ill news. The train the train of Lord and Lady Gershwin has been attacked on the trail. Scouts have reported as much. Most of them were killed. One man returned here to Verdun, and he has just died.
All right. Well, like I said, go to wake Samson. We'll need him as well. I'll go get to Sir Havoc.
Yeah, the servant goes and rouses Samson gently, and I apologize, Squire. I betrayed your trust, but I felt this was an exception. Please do forgive me. He kind of genuflects before Samson as you shake the sleep out of your eyes.
Samson kind of opens his eyes quickly and rubs them as he sits up. You did the right thing. Now tell me, what is so urgent that you betrayed my trust and woke both me
Give me forgiving or vengeful. Give me forgiving.
Ooh.
I want to see if I want to try to force. I want to force you to smack him.
Okay, in that case, and let's try that again. Now that I failed forgiving, he opens his eyes, seeing the peasant, and as he kind of prostrates himself and talks about betraying his trust, Samson angrily stands up, just giving him a Will Smith slap right across the face.
Yeah,
how dare you?
You're a military guy, and like if you ask somebody to do something like that, you know.
What part of do not betray my trust and keep a vow of silence do you not understand?
I apologize. I apologize. Please, your mercy upon me. From now on, I will be your man. Please do not tell my employer here at the end. Give yourself a check mark on the on vengeful.
Now tell me why you betrayed my trust before I go and grab a whip and horsewhip you out of town.
As I've already told your friend here, Lord and Lady Gershwin's close friends of Sir Hervik's family. Their band has been waylaid upon the road to Verdun. We are in need of assistance. Sir Hervik's father has asked that he take care of the situation.
Samson immediately kind of feels guilty, considering the worst case scenario that he had envisioned came to pass. Very well. Thank you.
Merciful
now
or
get
cruel?
Out of my way. Ooh, they're 10 for
I
both,
know.
so I guess
50-50.
we'll find out. Here we go.
Maybe you're going to get him,
We'll
get him fired.
We're going to go merciful because he did the right thing.
Okay.
We're going to go merciful now that he's told him. 1 second here. Anyway, he's still angry.
You can still go.
upset
You can
with the
still
man.
go against it. I'll just give you a check on the opposite thing.
I'll go with it. I failed it by
Okay.
quite a bit. I'll go with
Okay.
it. He, despite him prostrating himself and feeling somewhat guilty, he's still rather annoyed at this man's actions. Kind of picks him up with both hands, wrapping his shirt into his fist, not quite lifting him up off the air, but picking up enough to the man's on his toes. He goes, "The next time I give you an order, you do it, or you will lose at minimum all of your front teeth." He kind of cocks his fist back as if he's going to punch him, but then kind of does the flinch punch and then drops him before storming out.
He scurries out like a beaten dog.
Check cruel. Is that what you said?
Yep.
And with that, Samson kind of bolts out, presumably to go see where Sir Harvick is, as well as William, and then most likely to arm himself for what is to come.
You went to go wake up Harvick, right, William?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you walk into the room, he's just now shaking Harvick awake. Oh, what is it? My head is mostly clear, but the remnant of wine still swims heavily behind my eyes.
Well, I'm sorry to wake you from your nice slumber, Sir Havoc. But the servant just arrived. Ill news of your friend the Gershwins.
No. Nay, he looks up and the early morning sunlight streaming through the shutters up here. It hurts his eyes. He like squints his eyes.
William,
Is the sun high in the sky? It's not. It's probably like 6 in the morning.
yeah, no, it is not. And he'll hand him a glass that has wine in it. Drink that, you'll feel a little better.
He gulps it. I happen to have a goblet of wine here. He slurps that down. All right, very well. Come then, we must make haste. There is no time to make preparations. We must move swiftly on the road west of Verdun, or east of Verdun.
Well, you shall have my sword as long as my master permits it. But I don't know where to find him, so I assume he'll permit it.
If he does not, I will have a word with him. Your master is a reasonable man, and from what I know of him, he may be too busy counting his coin from his slave trade.
Ah, yes. And as he'll look at this as, of course, training for the day I've reached knighthood. So, and he'll look back to see Samson. Well, I'm glad you were awakened.
Yes, it seems that our fears have come true, and his kin have been attacked by some sort of cowardly band of bandits. And we must respond to them at once.
Now, William had the dream, right?
Yes.
He'd kind of, as he was Samson talking to Neil. I had but a dream of savages attacking a cart full of nobles and bodies in the river. I sure hope it's not true.
An omen, perhaps. Most worrisome.
Perhaps.
Sir Hervek mutters a prayer as he kind of leaves. I will return here with my steed. I suggest you gather your same. We ride at the first opportunity.
William straightens up, and he's already pretty much all ready to go. I assumed as much when the servant came running in, so I took the opportunity to don.
All right, we'll move forward as you guys kind of meet up just outside the city and head off on your first adventure. I'll let you kind of roleplay what looks like as you guys kind of horses galloping.
So as we're leaving town?
Yep.
Yeah. So William, of course, would ready his mount. No squire yet. He did not see his master, but you would assume that his master wouldn't have a problem with him accompanying Sir Harbeck. He'd look around. Looking for some pretty lasses to stare at before he goes to do battle.
You guys head out of town very early in the morning. Many from the large market the day before are still asleep. Gone are the slaves out of the square. They've been either trundled away or locked up. And there is barely an eye to see the three of you leave as you ride your horses out of Verdun on the road west.
Samson was quick to grab his charger and arm himself in his ring mail, in addition to his sword and spear and assorted weaponry. Over his ring mail is his quartered black and red surcoat, and he dons a helm as he rides out to meet the foe, secretly hoping it's Saxons.
Sir Hervek is with the two of you. and you guys fly to the west. The sun starts to rise high in the sky, burning off the morning mist. There are birds wheeling overhead, and every now and again you pass a traveler who is coming from a fork in the road. You don't see any at all coming from the west. They kind of pass you from the north and the south and wish you a good morning, and in your haste you don't have time to return the well wishes. Each of you guys give me a horseship just to kind of see how you handle your horse, because the road gets rougher and rougher the further you go west, away from civilization. And it starts to become apparent, like Sir Harveth probably had a good point, that, well, maybe the wagon broke an axle because these roads get rough and there's a lot of overgrown vegetation and that sort of thing. So you guys both passed. So role play for me, like how you kind of sidestep the big holes in the road, and every now and again there is a tree that's fallen across the path or overgrown vegetation.
Fortunately for Samson, he has several chargers that he has spent the majority of his formative years riding upon, and has learned, kind of their character and abilities, and sees the fallen trees and various obstacles and deftly moves around or jumps over them with his horse as it gallops eastward to wherever they hope to find the caravan.
Yeah, William, as well, as he sees Samson so deftly operating the horse, does so as well. Something that he was brought up with his horses, so he feels at ease maneuvering around the road, while also watching Sir Havek to make sure he doesn't have an accident.
He doesn't. He expertly. Let's see here. Actually, let's give him a roll.
Oh, jinx him.
Yeah, damn it.
He's pretty good. There you go. Yep. He expertly handles his horse as well. Eventually, though, you guys enter a very dense forest, and you have to kind of slow your horse to a slow trot, as now and again branches kind of crisscross the road and hang low, and you have to go from side to side. It's no wonder that a wagon would have a hard time passing this way. When eventually, up ahead, unfortunately, you see a figure of what looks to be a large wagon that has come to a stop, and you hear the voice of a man. Oh no! Don't kill me. Spare my soul, as my Lord God has spared you when you were captured. Please let me live. I am old, and I do not have many years left. Please spare me.
You say we could hear that?
Yeah, you can hear that.
I imagine that William, probably along with Samson, since we're both probably pretty similar, would almost recklessly start going faster.
Yeah, Samson will definitely draw his sword and start looking around to see if whoever the attackers were stayed in the area, using them almost as a honeypot to draw in further victims.
William, give me reckless. Yep. Yeah, check it. You ride ahead.
Yeah, you draw a sword and move to help to save the old man's life.
Okay, yeah, you storm ahead. While Harvek and Samson might be a little more prudent. Maybe. I don't know what Samson doing.
Did he see anything when he looked around?
No, you didn't see anything. You just heard the voice.
I'll do the same. I'll do a prudent. He takes a more cautious stance, even though kind of that thing inside him pulls at him to charge forward with William. And the internal desire to charge after William takes over as he gallops towards the overturned cart.
Yeah, give yourself a point in reckless there, or check. You guys thunder forward. You do see a wounded man down on the path. You probably don't know this guy, but this is Lord Huvelt Gershwin. Sir Hevek behind you said, "No, wait! Do not hurry forward. This could be a trap." And he kind of yells, "No, do not worry about me. They have taken my wife westward. They have taken my wife, a wraith from the forest. Released all the slaves." And as he says that, while you see what you know, give me a recognize, both William and Samson. Let's keep hammering on this one.
Ugh.
I'll eventually pass it.
I have a 5% chance.
Nothing.
Oh, so close.
You see a man who must be nearly 7 feet tall. You wouldn't know what he is, but you just must think he's a half giant of some sort. And he has a giant axe, and he gets just about ready to hew Lord Huvelt Gershwin's head from his shoulders when the two squires rush forward on their steeds towards him. Now, I'm not going. Now, normally you would have a mounted versus unmounted bonus, but with the cramped quarters and underground, you can continue on your mounts if you would like, but I would not give your bonus. And probably around where he is with the vegetation and trees, you're going to have to come to a standstill. But I'll let you guys role play how you want to do that. And he has blood all over him, right? He's got a bunch of wounds. And you can see, Samson and William, as you get closer, there are probably a dozen Germanic-looking slaves all around just slain and dead. And there are a bunch of guards as well. So the Gershwin family guards are all killed as well.
So you're saying, like, we have to come to a stop to fight this guy?
Well, we wouldn't get the bonus.
Yeah, you just wouldn't get the bonus.
Okay. I mean, at that point, it's even odds, right? It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Deter from us. Yeah.
Being on horseback, Samson believes staying mounted is the best way to get his sword or whatever weapon he has towards the face and vitals, presumably the vital areas of this half giant.
Yep.
Yeah, William does so as well. It makes him almost about the same height. And if he's figuring if he has to turn tail and move, he can do so quickly with the horse to gain distance.
So Lord Huvelt kind of calls out again, "My wife to the west," and then Harvek says, I shall regain the Lady Gershwin. Squires, this is your chance. May God's will be with you." And he just thunders off to the west in pursuit of the Lady Gershwin who was taken. And we enter combat. So, there's no initiative here. Basically, everybody just kind of states their intentions on what they want to do. And then it's all just opposed rolls. So, William, you want to attack? Samson, you want to attack, I'm guessing?
Yep.
All right.
That's how it goes.
All right, so both of you guys just roll whatever attack you want. Probably swords, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yep.
You're not going to be like riding this whole way with a lance.
No, I don't want to use my lance anyway. So within, I also said my sword is drawn already, so I'll stick to that. With sword drawn, he kind of shouts to William, "You take one side, I'll take the other. It will force him to turn his back to one of us." And he kind of positions his horse to one side and goes into attack.
Yeah, William nods and charges as well.
All right, roll your sword.
I did. I got 13.
13.
Good gosh.
Samson misses. All right, let's see what Husserl does. He turns towards you guys, and he's going to swing at William. Now, this is at a -5, okay? Because he's already been wounded to 3/4 of his hit points, and they take a -5 after that. So he would still get that. So that is a success. So, how that works is I think you guys both damage each other. Success, yeah.
So let me roll damage.
Wait, though, I think so. Sword. So you want to get as close to. Okay, here's how we. Oh, this is how it works, I believe. I'll check it tomorrow. But so see how your sword is a success, but it's closer to 14. You want to. It's almost like blackjack. You want to get as close to it, and even to it, but not go over. So you actually beat him. Okay, so Samson, you just missed. Okay, and Sim, you got a success, and you actually beat the Saxon. All right.
It's Price is
Yep.
Right rules.
But since he got what's called a partial success, if he had a shield, which he doesn't, he would get to add that in as well as his armor to the check. But you can see he's shirtless. He's a recently freed slave. He probably got the axe from the wagon, right, to cut down timber. So
Okay.
it's just going to be a full-on damage. But I'm just kind of explaining how it would work if he had like shield and armor and stuff.
Gotcha.
So roll your damage.
All right.
Roll your damage and you'll take the whole thing. 13? His knockdown is 15, so you don't reach that. But he is...
Now, what is the bus?
Yeah. So tell me what that looks like. He's going to be taking a -10 now to all of his checks.
Okay, so as he comes charging in, he's almost even with Samson. Samson might be a little ahead of him, or maybe he's behind him, and that's why he misses. It's because William, gets a swiping at him, and it changes it, and he just misses the horse oral. Maybe that's how he missed. But yeah, he gets in there and sees him. He's not afraid of this axe coming at him, and he has a determination. He's doing the Lord's work at this point, so he is not afraid. And as he gets in, he just gets a swipe in, narrowly missing, I guess, because he doesn't get hit by the axe, right? He doesn't get hit by the axe, William?
I think he still gets his chance to attack.
Okay. So yeah, and he gets a swipe in as his mount reaches him.
I can't remember how that works. If it's just completely opposed.
I'm looking right now.
Will you
Yeah, so
look
am
and
I.
see if it takes turns or if it's all at once, and you just look at the prices?
It's opposed. It's opposed resolution. The results leave a winner and a loser, a tie, or two losers in addition to critical success and fumbles. If one character sees the other fails, proceed to winner's phase of both fighters.
So he still gets to attack one of you guys.
Both fighters roll the same number. Both.
I think he does.
I'll do some else as well.
Let's just say he does for this game, and we'll move on.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so but he's going to take a -10. So he's obviously going to swing at William, trying to hew at your leg, like as it kind of drifts down over the saddle.
It says he's using opposed resolution, so it's opposed. So if I won, that means he lost.
So he doesn't get to go.
Yeah, I think that would be his attack, and he ended up losing out.
Okay.
From what I'm reading.
Okay, that's fine.
That's kind of what I saw for the losers phase, which is technically him. There's nothing listed where the attack finishes. But then
I
again,
think that would make combat go a lot faster, so I like that rule. I'll look at it tomorrow, but let's just say that then. So he tries to retaliate to William, and it doesn't happen because he just got destroyed and has a giant wound down to his bone in the left shoulder. At that point, though, one other of these guys just emerges from the woods, and he charges in towards William. Whoso! Grimwald the Wary emerges from the woods, runs, and tries to hew. I'm not going to give him any. He's going to be a flat roll, and he's going to try to just hew out William's horse from beneath him. Okay? So he's going to roll his axe. No! So tell me how you, maybe kind of turn the horse a little bit. And yeah.
Almost being surprised by Grimwald the Wary coming. He knows that he's out of reach of his weapon at the moment, but he knows his horse is not. So immediately after the strike, and he sees Grimwald coming for his horse, he does a canter and does a turn as he swings. And he kind of focuses on a new target.
Yeah, this is part of round 2, so you guys can all make your rolls again. And tell me what your targets are.
Samson will try to finish off Husserl.
Husserl. All right.
And of course, William will be looking at Grimwald now as the next his major threat.
And Husserl will be aiming towards Samson. All right. Make your rolls. That counts as Grimwald's roll. And his axe it's at a -5, so that still would hit. So that's 5 away. Yours is what, 4 away? Samson?
Oh, I rolled a 9. Mine's 6 away.
So yours is 6, and his is 5 away. So that would win. So
that's interesting. That.
Well,
yeah, I can't even see
he's rolling at a. I'm not. Yeah.
Wouldn't it go the other way? Because isn't he at -10 now?
Well,
so -5.
Oh, you're right. He's -10. You're right. You're correct. That would be a crit. That would be a crit.
Hilarious.
That would be a crit. So he rolls full damage on you. God works in mysterious ways. Oh no. How many hit points do you have? You got a partial success if you have your shield. Well, your mount, I don't know. It's up to you. Yeah. So you'd be able to ignore 7 + 6, 13 of it. But it would be 5d6, 30 damage.
So, how much did you say?
30.
13?
30, yeah, 30 minus 13, so.
I mean, okay, so 30 minus 13 is 17, so that takes me down to 6 hit points.
Yeah, and that would...
definitely knock me down, because my knockdown, if it's equals to your size, is 13.
Yeah, you get to make a dex check, though, to see if you actually are knocked down. That's a fail.
See, I don't even see what you're talking about, like the Price is Right rules. I don't even see any rules for that. We're about hitting.
There is. I remember reading it. Oh, there's
the under die roll.
Yeah.
If the player rolls lower than the modified six values.
Yeah, there's something called a partial success. So you fall.
The force of the blow.
Yeah, you can tell me what that looks like.
From this damage, he raises up his shield to prevent him from taking the worst of it, but the blow just sends him flying off his horse, falling to the ground.
Man, William, did you roll yours? Swords?
Not yet. I rolled now. That'd be a crit, right?
That is a crit, which I think you'll... What's your damage? No, so crit, you so it'd be... You're what, 5d6? That's 30. You max it. So that would kill him. So tell me what that looks like.
So seeing Grimwald after he swung the axe at him, William kind of canters out the way and then rears the horse up, and with the look of fire in his eyes, he brings the sword down on to this bandit that attacks him, and as he makes his strike true and home, he watches him cut into his neck, and then watches the neck almost clean off, and he uses his horse and he drops it down on top of the fellow as he pulls the sword back.
Third round. Husserl raises his axe and advances on Samson as he is struck by the horse. I may die here, but I'll send you back to your god, knight. And he starts to bring his axe down. What do you guys do?
Now, can I attack, or do I have to get up this
You
turn?
can attack, and it's at a -5 from the ground.
So just reading combat, he would just have to roll higher to be successful, right? So it wouldn't be relative. He just has to roll higher.
Yes. Like closer to the target, right?
Yeah. So if Harsful's is a 14, right, and he rolls a 7, and Williams is a 14 or 15 even, and he rolls an 8, William would win, for instance, or Samson would win.
I believe so.
It's not relative to. So if he had a -10 on his hit, it would just make it that much harder to hit, but would not give him a bonus of being closer. Like the way we did it.
You don't think it wouldn't lower that?
No, because it's a penalty that he's facing, right?
So what would how would you still roll a crit? Actual roll the number?
Whoever. No. So like since you gave was it Horsell the minus
-10,
minus 10, right?
That wouldn't drop his threshold to 5, and then he rolled the 5.
See, now I don't know if that. Yeah, so I don't know about the threshold part.
I think
so you're right.
It would, because if you hit it exactly.
Yeah, that would have.
Yeah,
you're right.
Bad luck. That's really
because like you can get -1. Like going negative isn't necessarily bad. Like in the tables, particularly,
Right.
like I had a -1 and rolled a 0, and it was really good. Right.
Yeah. So that would be a threshold. But like if there wasn't a crit, I think Samson would have won that one.
Yes,
Yes.
correct. The only reason he won is because of the crit.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Which I think works cinematically. So what are you doing, boys?
So I can attack at a -5.
You can attack at a -5. He can attack at a +5. This is one of these games where it all kind of evens out. So his total penalty would be -5 against you.
I'm scrolling really quick to see if there's like a defend action.
Like a full defense?
There's special traits. There's special traits. I don't know how those come into play.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Uh,
Like a full defense type of thing?
It'd be special combat tactics: defend, dodge, double feint.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at those.
I'm gonna use.
If you want to do full defend, what I would say is that he would just keep that full -10 against you.
It's interesting because it says I gain 10 to my weapon skill, so my weapon skill goes to 25.
That kind of makes sense. It's kind of the same thing.
But you don't deal damage if you win.
Yeah, if
Right.
I'm just basically allowing you to finish him off while he comes at me, and then I hope he doesn't luck out and he gets a +5 because he's attacking me. So his weapon skill is 15.
Yeah.
And then he just
But he gets a
down
+5,
to 10.
but he already has a negative 10 because
10.
he's so badly hurt. Right.
Yep, I'll go full defend.
All right, you want to roll first?
Yep.
I think once you get used to this, it'll probably go pretty fast. Okay.
I mean,
So-
Should have attacked later.
So that's 14, but that would really be against a 25.
versus 25.
It's an
yep,
obvious
so-
success. Let me roll his. Let me roll his axes here. So that's at a -10. So that would be a miss. See that his threshold really would be a 5. You know, when I do the macros for this game, I'm gonna build in a mod for that. That'll make it so much easier, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, at least they keep it simple with the math, right? That's just tens and
10s and 5s.
5s. Yeah.
Now you can, like I said, -2 earlier. If I think there's something in between, I'll say it. But he misses. He. So what are you doing? It's all up to you,
As
William.
As Husserl kind of advances on Samson, he backs up, not able to get up, but
Ching!
able to raise a shield and a sword to kind of deflect and scoot left and right to avoid a killing blow.
Yeah, William, after dropping the horse on the Grimwild, would look over at the foe he knew was standing and hear the struggle. He'd hear the block, and he'd look over and see Samson on the ground. He'd immediately turn and start going towards him to hit him.
Roll your swords.
Oh.
Wish you pray to the icons.
Right?
Hey! Roll damage. That kills him.
So as he rides at Horsil there, and he brings his sword back to do a thrust, and he sticks him right in the back of the neck, and almost carries him off of Samson with the sword before he slides off it. And he'll turn around and look for any other combatants.
You see?
Are you okay,
Yeah,
Samson?
nobody else.
No, I'm not. I'm hurting on the inside bad.
Can you stand up?
Me slowly kind of stands.
Yeah, William would take a guard posture until, give it a few minutes of looking before he sees no one else is coming out of the woods at him. That was a close one.
Indeed. Should we head west and follow the trail?
William will look at Lord Gershwin. Is he still alive at this point?
Yeah. Sir Gorshwin is like, please, I can take care of myself. This wraith from the woods killed many of the slaves and all of my guards. I fear that Sir Hervik will be no match for him. Please ride to the west. I will relay tales of your valor to the court of Verdun.
Oh. Hilariously enough, I missed this because I was just looking. I took a major wound, so technically I fall unconscious if I roll below how many hit points I have left.
Oh. So you'd be out like
You
a
wanna
light?
roll?
Well, I can roll. Let me.
Yeah, I mean you can roll
See if
and
this is on the
let
sheet.
William be the hero.
I don't even. Let me see if I can find this.
I have not looked at all about the wounds and stuff.
So I have 23 hit points. If you take more than your con score, you take a major wound, which I did.
I just don't know what that does.
So, yeah, I'm reading it right now. It's not great. Hold on. Oh, well, I'm still conscious. I beat it. You have to roll under however many hit points you have left to stay conscious.
No, are you in?
Are you gonna press on? What are you gonna do?
Can you fight?
Well, I'm at a -10 from here on out.
Roll valorous.
Oh, that's one I might actually... Now, is this at a -10?
I think it's just physical stuff.
Too hurt to go on.
Fumble. You can either do it or you can take a check in cowardly. I mean, you can either go with that result. A check in cowardly means your cowardly might go up. If you
it's gonna go up. He's gonna roll higher than a 3.
Lord Huvelt, I can take you back to Verdun.
Yeah.
I could continue on.
Yes. Please. Your name? I dare say I have not spied your visage about the narrow streets of Verdun. Who is your friend, Squire Samson?
This is Squire William of Ardennes. He is here on business with his master. I am the son of Odin of Verdun.
Very well. I will come with you back to town. Lord God, he puts his arms up to the sky. I want to see if you get a blessing. Yes. Please, Lord God in heaven, Savior of this earth and all that crawls upon it, bless this man, William of Ardennes, as he searches out my lady who has been taken by the wraith of this wood. Save her from the heathens across the Rhine. Go forth now, William, and prevail. And he nearly loses consciousness as Samson pulls him up on the horse. And you get a +2 to your rolls for the next encounter on every roll.
Nice. So William, before he departs, are you okay to ride, Samson?
I'll make it back with the Lord. You go save his wife and anyone else that's still alive. And you can tell as tough as he's trying to be, you can tell there's something seriously wrong with him, and he's very pale.
William will nod, hoping that he can hold out, knowing that his friend will sure give it a try, you know. I shall see you back in town. And he'll kind of nod and gallop after the knight.
I'll move both of your tokens.
Whoop.
You see okay?
We're good.
Is that to see if you fall on the road on the way?
No, that was me. See how many attributes are affected by my major wound.
Oh, damn.
It's not good.
All right. It's considering what could have happened.
All right, I just have Samson's character here so you can see. So tell me what I'll let you give the scene. William, as you ride your horse up and you see Sir Hervek speaking with somebody that's standing in the river, and you ride up upon them and he's kind of speaking urgently to someone, and I'll just let you kind of role play what that looks like, and let me move some tokens around.
Yeah, so William does make haste, utilizing his reckless there to kind of charge the woods, figuring that if something tried to jump out to attack him, he could ride past them. And as he goes up and sees Sir Havoc, Hervik, he'll not slow down until he gets there, and he'll have his sword drawn, of course.
Sir Harvick is looking down at two figures down in the stream. One of them seems to have a sword at the lady's throat. Harvick kind of turns to you. Shh! Approach quietly. The situation is tenuous at best.
William will kind of nod. He doesn't know the situation, so he'll kind of nod and approach.
I want you to give me both an awareness and first aid.
Fuck. That was a bad roll.
Okay.
And a first aid.
Yeah, okay. You can see as this figure kind of turns towards the two of you that he's dismounted. He's standing down in the stream with Lady Gershwin about ready to slit her throat. Come no further. I do the work of my Lord in heaven. He who animates the crawling things, the walking things, the flying things upon this earth. He who creates the streams, the rivers, and the mountains. And this stream will run red with this sinner's blood. For I have been given the charge of righting wrongs, of fleeing these Saxons who have souls. God speaketh to me. And he, you see that he has some sort of rash or pox all over his face, William. And you can sense that he is just obviously delusional, and he is responding to some sort of internal stimuli. Like he is literally hearing God's voice.
William, as he kind of glances, so Havoc, this man is mad.
So then what can we do? A madman, just as much as a sage, could draw a blade across this woman's throat? It would be too late by then, squire. All of my training is on the battlefield. It has not prepared me for this. You hear Lady Gershwin. My soul is prepared to meet its maker. My soul will live forever in eternity. Do what you must. Traitor to your king. But I know this knight of my realm and this squire. And she kind of gives you a sidelong glance. And they will be merciful.
William, I don't. Maybe you'd have to debate them in theology, or personal combat. Maybe if there's any honor with his god, he'd have to accept it.
I charge you not to be reckless, squire. Give me a reckless roll.
Oh, he's feeling really reckless.
What do you want to do?
And William would kind of approach up a little closer. So Havoc, I feel for her life. Perhaps if I could attempt to trade it for mine, perhaps a personal combat we get in this situation.
That's what.
And he'll approach past Sir Havoc. You there, good sir? You say you work for God?
The knight tries to urge you to stop, but after he sees your recklessness and probably valor, he is silent and just watches on.
Approach a little closer. Just
And
so
why should I stop? This lady and her lord have taken countless souls as slaves. They will never be saved. They will never sing glory to God in the highest. They no doubt burn at the center of the earth in a lake of fire. And he pushes the blade against her neck. You can see a little ruby red line of blood. Even though I may die, I will take this sinner with me, squire.
Well, I don't want either of you to die. And as far as the Saxons you talk about, there is a bunch that, at least from my homeland, that have found God. We are all God-loving people. But perhaps if you would like, and you kind of edge a little closer, maybe try your hand to be in a bout of honor to see who God favors. But I tell you what, I will be merciful if we fight and you lose. I will let you live, let you see God, to see how people find the Lord. And if I lose, you could do with me what you want. Dispatch me. Or maybe take me a prisoner for ransom.
Give me a love of God with a +2.
Is that including the other +2, or is that the +2?
That's the +2.
Gotcha. So that'd be a 12. Roll the 4.
He lets her go. And she comes towards you.
William, of course, would step off.
Check that love of God. Check mark.
I might already have it checked. I guess it's already checked. Me and God are in love. And William, as he approaches, as Lady Gershwin would pass him, would nod at the warrior in front of him. So is it combat?
He searches your eyes and sees your earnestness. With the love of God, you would get a +10. So give me a eloquence with a +12.
It's the only way I'm going to pass this guy. Woo!
He drops his sword into the stream and bends his head and takes water, splashes against his face. Like there's flesh dripping off his face. Forgive me. I live as if I am in a fever dream. The God speaks to me, but so does the stream. So does the devil below. I am ill, young squire. I will no doubt perish soon from this malady. Please, take me back to Verdun and fetch me a priest to absolve my soul before I die. And I want you to do your see what's recommended by your character. Would it be forgiving or vengeful? What do you want to do?
He's going to try forgiving. It's lower than vengeful, but he's going to try to be forgiving because it's a bargain has been struck. Right. He wants to try to hold true to his offer, but he didn't offer he just offered to beat him in combat and be merciful. He didn't offer anything else. So, and he is forgiving. That is fine. And William, kind of, who had his hand on his sword, puts the sword into his See, come, you can ride on my horse. But we will find you salvation and hopefully heal you of your omen.
No, you won't. He has late stage syphilis. You're not going to cure anything.
Whatever that is.
So he gets on the horse,
Come.
yeah, and yeah, tell me what it looks like as you guys head back into Verdun.
Yeah, so he's leading the horse, following Sir Havoc. He would even mind if Sir Havoc wanted to gallop ahead to get back sooner. Of all times, he showed about a second horse would be now. But so he would, of course, make his way back to town, and he would talk to the guy suffering of some bad omen, offering words of encouragement and of God. You know, God looks favorable on those who are merciful, and you were merciful yourself. You let the lady go.
Let me get all my tokens together here. As we head back into town. So yeah, it's probably late in the day. I'll let you kind of role play. Have you guys kind of march into town and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm sure William would be behind Sir Havoc and Lady Gershwin, and of course he's still leading the bandit or whoever he is.
Yeah, why
I'm
don't
not sure
you
if
guys
he
give me a recognize again, or heraldry?
We'll stay with
I
him.
can't succeed that currently.
Hey!
Yeah, he's actually not that far from you. You didn't notice it at first, but you knew him as a young man. This is Berton of Lullange. His face is just so destroyed from this disease that you didn't recognize him, and his personality is certainly different, as he still seems to be talking to God on the route home. But this is a knight. It's a knight, and you know that he had been missing for a year, and that he had the reputation of being a whoremonger.
So William, as he figures it, he would start to address them more as sir. So where have you been, sir? Sir Berton. As he approached the town.
Some weeks ago, I began to hear the Lord God calling to me. Perhaps I was delusional, for I see my folly now, and I live as if in a fever. My ways in Lullange. Well, as the good book says, the wages of sin is death. If you, William, would fetch me a priest, I would welcome a swift blow to the back of my skull, and then perhaps eternal peace, and the voices would stop.
Well, I sure will. I'll get the priest. I will get the local. But I don't know if he'll give you a swift blow to the back of the head. But maybe God brought you here for a reason. And kind of give him a nod as you get into town. He'll take him right to the church.
Yeah, let's say Samson, like you've gotten a lot of first aid and stuff. You're a little bit better off as they roll in, and you're with Huvel to Gershwin and stuff. How do you react to this kind of train walking into town?
As he sees them coming in, his body, his torso is wrapped in bandages from the blow he received, and he wants to raise his arm and cheer at the successful recovery of Lady Gershwin, but the pain is too great. He goes, "Ugh, it's good to see you back, Squire William. Sorry that I was not able to join you in the fight. What happened?
As William's making his way, he'll kind of yield and... I'm glad to see you made a friend. And then he'll kind of look around. There was no combat. But Sir Bertrand here... He looks at Sir Bertrand. He speaks with the Lord. And there was some confusion. Or the Lord brought him to us. But I must take him to the priest now.
Samson's kind of like repulsed by the look of Berton. And, what is wrong with him?
You know,
he fights
you know from that first aid roll that he has like something. I don't know if they called the Sif back then, but he's got something.
He suffers from a malady brought on by sin. So he seeks a priest to atone. So I have brought him to one.
It was very noble of you. Well done, Squire William.
Well, I couldn't have did it without you. I wouldn't have been able to fight both of those scum by myself.
I provided quite the distraction for them, didn't I? Puts his hand up to his mouth as he makes sure he's not coughing up blood.
You did, at great expense. But, yes, let me take him to the priest and come back and we can share the stories.
Yes, you can tell me all about it. I will be an excellent listener, as there's very little I can do right now other than sit and try and recover from this horrible wound.
Yeah. Make sure to drink some of that wine there.
No.
William will smile. And then he'll move towards, I don't know if Sir Havoc's stopped there or what, but he'll move towards where the priest is.
Yeah, so let's just say, like, you know, he's brought before the priest. Over the next day or two, a small council was held. The clergy is recommending that Sir Berton of Lullange is stripped from his title and is burned at the stake with an iron collar. That is what they are recommending to do. He screams maniacally, saying that you guys promised to mercy. You promised to mercy. Sir Havoc, because the Gershwin family is wrathful as well because of this whole situation, they wish no mercy, and for political reasons, though Hervek may agree with you guys, he is staying silent. What are you guys doing?
William knows that this is above him.
Yeah, this is where this is where you can do stuff, but you won't have penalties because you're a squire.
Yeah, he would try to speak in favor of giving him a quick death, and he would actually try to get Lady Gershwin to see that, you know, because the Lord, well, maybe he wouldn't, because Lady Gershwin was there, he saved her life, but maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he would say that the Lord brought William and Sir Havoc to Bertrand to save him from the grasp of Satan, of Lucifer himself.
So he could be saved before he died.
So he could be saved, and there is still a Lord, and the Lord's still in him.
What do you want to do, Samson?
Being young and deferring to the members of the church, he believes that by burning him, they purify his flesh and send him to the Lord clean and free of his sin. It is an atonement for what apparently was a sinful life, and while his body may mark maybe the physical mark of that sin, the fire from being burned at the stake will represent the being cleansed of it.
All right. I want William to do with a +2. You still get that +2. Love of God with a +2.
Oh, finally failed it.
So one of the end scenes of the session is going to be Lady Gershwin sitting down with William in a dark room somewhere saying, "William, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Squire Samson and yourself, from the east, from Ardennes. Without you, we would surely be face down in the muck, slain by those heathens. But those same heathens will hear of this tale. If they hear of our mercy, their numbers will multiply. They will rush forth across the Rhine and take our lands, rape our daughters. We cannot have that. I know that our God is merciful. This man's pain is but temporary, William. Come now, you must learn this lesson." And she leads you out onto like one of these balconies at the church. And you see Berton de Lullange set aflame, screaming, as they put an iron collar around his neck and light the pyre beneath him. I'll let you guys give me a last role play as his screams rise to the heavens as penance to our Lord God.
William, knowing that this is still beyond him, he held his word, but he knows it's beyond him for others to honor his word. Would feel remorse for Sir Berton's death, who's no longer a sir, and as the fire is lit, would nod his head in silent prayer, and then respond to Lady Gershwin. I do understand. I wish things could be different at times, but again, this is beyond me. But I do hope that this is the Lord's will.
As Samson watches him and screams, he winces at the pain that is evident as he yells before the fire slowly takes the last bit of oxygen from his lungs, and he turns to William. It's not our... we are not meant to understand the Lord's will, but to simply accept it. I'm sure he will find peace in the afterlife now that he's been rid of his sin.
Yes. Well, let us hope that he smiles upon us from the heavens.
You see like little children like screaming and turning their eyes away as this guy's burned, and the mother's kind of ushering back inside. And that's where we'll end our very hopeful and lighthearted session.
Yeah, no, it's. I forgot this whole system that if you get fucked up, man, you're done. You're out for the game.
It's very realistic.
Yeah, you get hauled back to town in a cart, hoping that your life doesn't slip away from you.
Very good game. I like it.
Sorry, when we become knights, we'll have